Hey guys, before I get into this video, I just wanted to mention really quick, this weekend from when this video goes up through Sunday, May 21st, Primary Supply is having a flash sale on their website where every order includes free shipping. And on top of that, every order from today until next Friday, May 26th, if you use the discount code VLSkate, you'll automatically be entered into a giveaway to win a primary care package plus a VLSkate deck. So go check them out. I have the link and the discount code in the description of this video. And now on to the video. Here are 3 more common problems with ollies that keep people from reaching their full potential. In my previous video called How to Ollie Higher and Better, I mentioned 3 common mistakes, which were improper back foot placement, not understanding what the back foot actually does when you pop, and problems with timing. In this video, I'm going to focus more on what to do with your front foot when you slide it up the board, how to shift your weight so you can get a more leveled out ollie, and in general, how to pop harder and higher off of your back foot. Now, whether you're popping your ollie a few inches off the ground or 30 feet in the air, the same fundamental rules apply. The first most common mistake I see is people not following through when they slide their front foot up towards the nose. This is usually caused by a mix of not focusing enough on what the front foot is actually doing, and also having improper timing, which doesn't even allow your foot the time to go up the nose. A lot of the times when beginners are starting off trying ollies, they pop the board and slide their foot up, but it doesn't get much further than the bolts. While it's still possible to ollie like this, you're going to end up with a rocketed ollie that doesn't level out at all. One of the main reasons why your board curves up at the nose is so that when you do tricks like an ollie or a kickflip, your front foot will have something to catch onto in order to pull the board forward and up into the air. So naturally, if your foot isn't getting up to the nose and it only gets as far as the bolts, you're not going to have any leverage to pull the board up and level out the back. But in order to get to the point where you can pop the board hard enough that your foot actually can slide up and catch the nose, it's going to take a mix of making sure that your back foot is popping the tail hard enough and that you have the right timing down. So let's take a look at the back foot for a second. Now, I already mentioned in my previous video that the proper positioning for your back foot is to have the ball of your foot on the center of the tail. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is understanding that when you pop off the tail, what you're really doing is simultaneously pressing down and jumping off of your back toes. It's the same concept as jumping off the ground without a skateboard. If you try and do this flat-footed, you'll look weird and you won't get very high. But if when you jump, you're jumping off your toes, you're going to get a lot more height. So apply this concept to your back foot when you're trying an ollie. You have to make sure that when you're pressing down with your back foot, as soon as the tail snaps off the ground, you're jumping off your back toes and lifting your leg up. And now that I think about it, you'll hear that in almost every how to ollie video. They'll say to press down on the tail with your back foot and then lift it up into the air. But I think that a better way to think of it is that you're jumping off your back foot and lifting your whole entire body in the air, and your leg just happens to be part of it. It's important to realize that when you slam down on the tail with your foot, you have to make sure you remove your foot from the tail, or else the board is just going to lift up on the nose and not really go anywhere. The second point I want to make is that skateboarding is just physics. Your skateboard is just a piece of wood that is reacting to the forces you're putting into it. With that concept in mind, just think about the fact that if you slam down on the tail and let the board fly up into the air, it's going to go as high as gravity allows it. And this is where your front foot comes back into play. When you pop the tail and then you slide your front foot towards the nose, your front foot doesn't slide forward in a motion that's parallel with the ground. It goes upward and forward in a diagonal motion. And it's going upward because you've jumped off your back foot and your whole body is going up into the air, like I said before. So with your board wanting to just fly straight up into outer space, the only thing that's going to keep it level and not flipping over is your front foot. Basically, after you've popped, the control of the board shifts from your back foot to your front foot. Your front foot is just rising up into the air and jumping forward with your body. And it's your front foot that continues to drag along the nose, pulling the board forward and up into the air. And then once you've reached the peak of your jump, your front foot will continue to move forward and a little bit downward, which will cause the tail to come up and hit your back foot. Now, the last main point I want to talk about is how to shift your body weight. One of the most common problems you see when people are trying to learn how to ollie higher is that their weight is too far towards their back foot. This will negate all the steps I said before and will keep you from ollieing high enough to even have the chance to level out the board. There is a reason why it's easier and better to learn ollies while rolling. And I think that's because you're already moving forward towards your nose, so when you pop an ollie, you either have two choices. You're leaning back too far and you just kick the board away, or you pop off the tail and shift your weight forward towards your front foot. And it's the latter motion that we're going for here. Now that doesn't mean you can't learn or practice ollies while standing still. It just means that you have to use the same mentality as if you were rolling. This means that you're standing on your board with both feet with about equal pressure on both of them, and then after crouching down, when you're ready to pop off the tail, your weight shifts to your back foot in order to pop off the ground, and then once you've jumped off your back foot, your weight releases and you start shifting it towards the front of your board. This allows the tail to come up and for you to start to level out the ollie by pushing your front foot forward. So if you mix these three main concepts together, it should turn all into one fluid motion. An ollie is really a bunch of little movements which are closely timed together in order to create one big motion. And just performing one of these steps incorrectly or with bad timing can cause the whole thing to fall apart and lead to ollies which aren't so great. So if you're just learning how to skate, or you're a beginner, or you're just working on your ollies in general, I would suggest going and watching my How to Ollie video. That should cover all the fundamentals about getting started with this trick. Next, I would move on to my How to Ollie Higher and Better video, which should help clear up some of the mistakes which you may have learned along the way. And then finally think of this video as another supplement to further explain the mechanics and what's important behind an ollie. So I hope that this video helped add even just a little bit more knowledge to your understanding of an ollie. It can be hard to put into words the minute details that you may not even be noticing you're doing. So my last suggestion would just be go watch a bunch of videos of people doing ollies. But the absolute most important thing to do is to go out and practice. So keep practicing, keep developing, and you will get better. Thank you for watching, and you can like and subscribe if you want.